Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Punishing Gray Raven video. Let's get into it. So I came across this video recently that I thought might be fun to react to, and so I wanted to do it together with you guys. It's from a YouTube channel called Eisen. At least that's how I think it's pronounced. The video is called From Quitting to Rediscovery, My Journey with Punishing Gray Raven. And as somebody who's still relatively new to Punishing Gray Raven, a few months now, I've got a pretty good grasp of the game. I'm really interested to see why somebody might have walked away from the game before and then came back, and to see, maybe there's an issue or a problem there that I can avoid for myself to avoid burnout or something in that direction. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. It always helps support the growth of the channel. I greatly appreciate that and appreciate all the support that we've gotten in the last couple videos. It has been very exciting to see, and it's been great, so thank you so much. On to the video.
I walked away from Punishing Gray Raven 3 months after its release on Global. It was during the first major patch, Frozen Darkness, with the introduction of the most wanted character of the time, Alpha. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let's take a few steps back.
I mean, I can understand that Alpha's a sick unit, so I understand why it would have been a really exciting time for that.
I was one of the few people that was lucky enough to know about the game way before its global launch. I watched gameplay videos or listened to the awesome music up until the release.
CN guy.
Besides the rainbow card drama that would put a bad taste in everyone's mouth, the release of the game was as awesome as we all thought it would be. The game wasn't anywhere near close to perfect though, and it was these imperfections that made me, well, quit. Initially,
Really?
PGR's story was so slow and a little confusing. It felt like the same old tired plot that was used many times before. A post-apocalyptical era, humans create androids or constructs. The constructs are treated badly by everyone except for you, the protagonist.
He's not wrong. I've talked about this in a bunch of other videos about PGR, and everybody pretty much universally agrees that the first 8 chapters are rough when it comes to Punishing Gray Raven. So I totally understand where this guy's coming from. That it's not good. It really starts to pick up later on. I mean, honestly, it does, and I've been more engaged in the story in that way. Well, behind, I have still liked it a lot more than those first 8. Not great.
Some constructs go rogue and then join the bad guys, blah blah blah. After a few chapters and thinking that it would just get better, I didn't feel that engaged anymore. I wanted a more immersive narrative that would keep me on the edge of my seat, but sadly, Robot Michelin Man's backstory didn't do it for me. I also noticed, or started to notice, how dull everything looked. The lackluster palette in PGR made the world feel lifeless. Too lifeless, and other graphical aspects didn't help out much either. It took so long for the community to take Roland seriously. I mean, look at this clown. He looks like an emo kid from high school parading about how much he's such a rebel, and then pulls out the lunchbox that his mom made for his lunch.
100%. Yeah, Roland has hardcore edgelord vibes that I get. I never really thought about it too much, but he's so right. Considering I connected him to Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul from the one screenshot previously, that does make a little bit of sense. I totally see that there. And what he was talking about with the art and it being a little more dull, I still see that as a little more as a design choice that I kind of understand to differentiate itself from other competition that, is doing the more vibrant vibe. So I understand that, and it's not going to be everybody's thing. So I don't totally mark that against it, but if you're talking about from a personal preference perspective, I get it.
And let's not forget the grind. Those repetitive tasks made my fingertips ache and my motivation wane. There was no autoplay feature to speed up the most tedious endeavors. Overall, it seemed like in the long term, the game just wasn't for me. The final nail in the coffin was...
I was just thinking about, I think the only autoplay feature that's still available that I'm aware of is on Pain Cage. You can auto clear some of I think it's the first 4 stages, or is it the first 3? I think it's you can auto clear the first 3 stages from the previous round. And so I think that's the only autoplay part that I know of. Other than that, it's pretty much manual play, which I both like and don't like, because it makes everything matter, and you're engaged with every part of the game, and it doesn't just become simply just a chore because you're engaged in that way. But also, there are days when I'm busy, and I want to get my dailies done and want to make it quick, and I've gotten pretty good at streamlining that, but it would be nice to be able to auto some of that for for my dailies on some days.
The coffin was when I and many others rolled in the wrong gacha for Alpha. Collecting enough black cards for a 10 pull took ages back then if you had a life and weren't a whale. And seeing that I couldn't even hit pity really hit me hard. So that was it. I had enough and I turned my back on the game. I even made a shitty meme video praising for how good it was, but I still had to say farewell. Farewell to a disappointment. Genshin Impact was coming out soon, and that was supposed to be a suitable replacement for the void that PGR left. I quit Genshin Impact after a few months. It lasted longer than PGR, but man, it had some similar problems like tedious grinding, a ruthless gacha, and a mediocre Disney story. The worst part was the community. I didn't want to be a part of that trash. But you know what they say, time heals all wounds.
No, like that's true. Like, look, as somebody who played Genshin for years, like even like from launch, like because like enough people have talked about it, but like Genshin came out at such a unique time. It just hit a particular market, and its cross-platform ability just reached so many people that it just became a juggernaut so quickly. Like, you know, content creators exploded because of that game, and it is a good game, but like that's been rehashed and talked about many times before. There's no end game content. Once you kind of clear everything, it gets a little bit slow. And we're actually already seeing the effects of that in Honkai Star Rail 2 in a similar way. Maybe I'll make another video kind of talking a little bit about that, because I've got some different thoughts than what other people have been talking about with like Star Rail and stuff. And like almost like the question of like how many hours is like worth it. Anyway, I digress. Maybe another video. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a video about that and me talking about how like I feel like people are complaining to some degree in an unjustified way, but yeah, let me know in the comments below.
I decided to check back on PGR. It was well over a year since I quit the game, so I figured there were some significant improvements. After downloading the game on my emulator and feeling excited to go back to a game that I thought I loved, I arrived at the welcome back screen, which played, you know, the nice little cutscene. After the cutscene though, I was bombarded with notices of new features, items, stories, gameplay mechanics, character gotchas, you name it. And, well, it turned me off. It felt like I missed out on too much, which was true. The feeling of guilt and FOMO rushed over me until I didn't want to play anymore. This sounds so dramatic, like I was getting back with my ex, but it really happened, multiple times. Over the course of the next few months, I would do this 2 more times, and each time I would either feel that sensation of fear that I missed too much, or laziness that I would have to set up my emulator again for the controls I wanted. One thing was certain though, I kept trying to come back. Let's get to the point.
You know, it's the same thing with things like One Piece, right? Like One Piece, there's just like so many episodes to it now that a new viewer like myself like is just almost like intimidated by the amount of content that has come out, that it can feel almost like a chore to want to have to go through and like clear everything to catch all the way up. It's this weird like conundrum if you think about it, that like there's people who complain that there's not enough content and not enough things to do, well at the same time if there is too much, it is too overwhelming and you don't want to do it at all, and it just becomes like a burden to even start. And it's weird how the human brain does that, because by that same logic, people who are complaining about the lack of content and things like Honkai Star Rail right now and Genshin Impact like should be able to see a game like PGR and be like, this is exciting, there's so much to do, this game has been out for so long. But at the same time, like people like, you know, they don't see it like that. They see it as like you've missed out too much. It's weird how the brain does that.
Point now, I finally overcame those feelings because of 2 things. Number 1, Alpha Crimson Weave dropped on CN. After seeing her gameplay, it ignited something within me that was more than just motivation to get back into the game. It was something like, damn, she looks so cool and so fun to play.
100%. I feel like one of the best investments that Kuro has ever made was creating Alpha Crimson Weave and giving her this insane Virgil-esque kit so everybody can feel motivated to get in there and to play her. I mean, like that was 100% one of the things that drew me into the game as well. So I totally understand that. However, I feel like this guy's about to have the same awakening that I had, and that she's not coming anytime soon.
Also this. The second thing that made me come back was the announcement that PGR was going to have a PC client. Let's fast forward to today and my thoughts on the game. I've been playing daily since coming back, which was around the end of January. This was during the Surviving Lucem event, which sparked a lot of hype in the community because it was widely considered to have the darkest but richest story so far in the game. I've yet to catch up because there's just so much story to read through, and it would have been a lot faster if it wasn't for one fact. The story is hella good now. I love how involved you as the self-insert commandant are in every aspect of the story. It's so badass and immersive.
姉さんを救える方法は一つだ
This is spoilers, I think, for me.
け。私を受け入れて。
The graphics have improved significantly, and with the help of the PC client, it'll look even better. There are channels on YouTube dedicated to showing off how amazing the animation team is over at Kudo Games. At least for the newer ones, each character has an insane level of detail after every attack. It's the little things that give life to a game. Yeah, tedious tasks are still there, but nowhere near as bad as they were before. Autoclear was implemented into the game a while back, and there are ways that...
Oh yeah, I forgot it's in Warzone 2. You can auto-clear the first 2 stages, but then the 3rd stage you still have to do. That's helpful.
Commandant can catch up. It's like they've been listening to community feedback and have been diligent in improving their game based on what they receive. As far as I can tell, the devs over at Kudo Games seem to really care about the community, and it's hard to find someone that doesn't appreciate that. The game still isn't perfect, but that's okay because no game is or ever will be perfect. Depending on when this video is released, the PC client is out or close to being out, and I hope the hype brings more players in. The developers, listening intently to the players' voices, have injected vitality into the game. With regular events, updates, and improvements, Punishing Gray Raven has become a living, breathing entity that continues to evolve and surprise us. But what truly sets this game apart is the soul that permeates every pixel, the stories weaved, the friendships forged, and the moments of triumph and despair. Punishing Gray Raven has become more than just a game. It's a journey that touches the core of our gaming souls. But seriously, this is just the beginning. It's the type of game that only gets better and better, and that's especially the case in Global since we already know all the goodness of what's coming.
True. Very excited about that. Like, oh my gosh. Hanying, Crimson Weave, Karenina Bonk, Bianca Stigma, like all of the new Omniframes look amazing, and I'm very excited for them.
Join me. Join us. And together we will embark on a journey that will leave us breathless and wanting more. I mean, literally, I want more than just one copy of every character, but I'm no whale and I suck at the game anyway, so getting SSS isn't gonna make much of a difference.
I've never felt so seen.
Anyhow, let's keep the spirit of Punishing Gray Raven alive. Peace.
You know, that was good. Really good video. Had some good insights. It was really entertaining. He had some good jokes kind of stuck in there too. His delivery is really interesting though. His voice and how his cadence and how he was talking to that whole thing. I just found that to be interesting. But I think one of the things that I'm still struggling with right now is like it takes forever to raise new units that you get. Like, but that's probably my biggest gripe right now is it takes forever. Like I'm still building Nanami Nanami Starfarer, and she's still not even ready to be like fully used in combat because it's so expensive to raise the memories. But that's gonna be all for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you rock. You're the best. You're just the best around. Nothing ever is going to keep you down. That's great. Yeah, make sure to, again, like and subscribe. Make sure to go check out the video. I'll have it in the description below where you can go and, subscribe to his channel as well. It was a really great video, great content, and appreciated that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.